Hey Huntsville, it's Tina Clark, the original Cape Cod Realtor, here today with Michael Cowley with Cowley Home Inspections. How you doing today, Michael?
I'm good. How are you, Tina?
I'm good. Thanks for joining me today. I just have a few questions for you, some from myself and some from some of my clients. They wanted to ask you a few things about your business and what to look for in a house as far as your inspections go.
Okay.
So how long have you been doing home inspections?
Going on 6 years now.
6 years. And
Not
what is
quite,
it?
Not quite six. We're headed into the 6th year though.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And what is it that brought you to this career? What do you like about it?
Well, the thing I really love about this industry is I get an opportunity to help people. I love helping people.
Hmm.
And this is my way of helping folks.
And you enjoy the work, looking at homes,
Well, yeah, you got to
Yeah.
enjoy that. But,
Right.
on top, what really drove me to become a home inspector is, I guess, out of my passion for helping people,
Oh,
helping.
that's good. So when somebody calls you for a home inspection, do you charge by the square foot? Do you charge by how many bedrooms? How do you charge a home inspection?
So typically on a residential building, the fee is based on the square foot. There is an added fee once the house reaches 50 years old. There's another added fee if the house is over 100 years old.
Oh,
And
okay.
then, so we don't charge for crawl spaces or attics. It's strictly square foot and age once the building reaches 50 years old. Now we do charge for an additional, like a detached building.
Mhm.
Sometimes clients would like to have those inspected, and we offer that as a service, but we do have to charge for it.
Okay, that makes sense. And during your inspection, what all do you check? Just the major components. You don't have to get into minor details.
So the technical answer is that it's a non-invasive um, inspection that we basically look at readily accessible components of the home. We're checking for functionality, safety items. The short answer is I basically look at everything I can without being destructive. All the visible electrical, all visible plumbing, the exterior siding, windows, the grade around the home, attic structure, insulation, etc.,
Mhm.
crawl space structure, test all the built-in appliances, run, make sure that everything in the home functions as designed, and then we look for safety and health concerns as well.
Okay. And is there anything that you don't check that somebody might want to have a specialist come and look for?
Yeah, that's a good question. So things that we don't check for or that we don't inspect. I guess that would probably be a better way to put it. So we don't inspect, for example, chimney flues. That would be a role for like a chimney sweep. We
Mhm.
don't inspect septic tanks. We don't inspect or test low voltage systems such as alarms or built-in stereo equipment.
Okay. So do you typically check for the 4 dangerous things that people are typically worried about, which is mold, radon gas, lead paint, and asbestos?
Yeah, before I answer that, Tina, let me back up to the previous question, if I may. When I say alarms, I'm talking about security alarms,
Okay.
not necessarily fire detectors and
Oh,
smoke
okay. Yeah, that
detectors.
makes sense.
All right, so answer your uh, question. Um, could you repeat that question?
Do you, does a typical home inspector check, if somebody's buying, like you said, you charge a little bit more for an older house. Are you checking for asbestos, lead paint, radon gas, mold, things like that?
Yep, so we do offer radon gas testing as a separate service, as one of our ancillary services. There is a fee for that. It's a
Okay.
48-hour, minimum 48-hour test.
Mm-hmm.
And and as far as the mold and asbestos, we look for it. Don't test to see what type of mold it is or what type of fungus it is, but I do look for fungus growth or signs of fungus growth. And if I find fungus growth, I note it on the report and recommend a company come out and test to see what type of fungus that it is. And as far as asbestos goes, we do look for it for asbestos in certain cases. You'll have asbestos in the insulation. You may have asbestos in the exterior siding of the home. You may have asbestos in the floor covering of the home, depending on the age and the style of floor covering. But when we do find a material in the home that we suspect to be asbestos, we recommend we call it out. Hey, this particular material looks like the type that could be asbestos, and recommend a lab test to verify.
Okay, that's good. And so when you're doing your inspections, do you like it if the buyer comes for the inspection, or would you rather just send him your report? How do you feel about that?
Well, to tell you the truth, I don't mind my customers being at the home inspection. I think it's a win-win for both parties. I think it gives them an opportunity to be in the home a little longer than they were when the agent walked them through the house. And it gives them an opportunity to see what I'm seeing and have me explain what I'm seeing. So that when they see it in the report, oh yeah, he told me about this.
Okay.
I know what he's talking about. And for me, it gives me an opportunity to build a little rapport with our customer, which, if they like me, they're more apt to refer me to their friends
Right.
and their family. So I think it's a win-win for both parties. They're welcome to be there. Particularly since COVID has hit, most people that come to the inspections now usually wait and come toward the end. And then I have probably a lot more the last year and a half or so that just don't come
Right.
because of, whatever reason.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's say you are shopping for a home for yourself.
Okay.
What are you looking for when you go walk through these homes that you go, okay, that's a problem right there. It's a red flag that could be hiding something else, or not necessarily hiding it, but maybe a sign of something else?
That's a good question. So believe it or not, fresh paint, particularly on
Oh,
the exterior around the window trim or, other wood
hmm,
material outside, you'd be surprised at how many times I have found rotted wood with fresh paint over it.
they're trying to hide it.
So yeah,
Mhm.
but and then sagging floors or settling floors, cracks. A lot of times, cracks in sheetrock are typical, but if you have some other things going along with it, that might point to another issue, like a sagging floor or doors that don't shut or latch properly when they are shut, or windows that won't open.
Mhm.
If you've got a fireplace and the hearth that's pulled away from the wall a little bit, that's
Oh,
usually a flag.
yeah, that would be a flag. Is there anything that you would see on an inspection that you would tell your buyers, don't buy this house. This is too much, or it can't be fixed, or just
No, there's not, and I'll tell you
nothing?
why. Not, and I'll tell you why. That is not my role as a home inspector,
Hmm.
because no matter how many issues are found in a home, it can be repaired.
Right.
And depending on your skill set and your budget, you can have anything repaired
Hmm.
or replaced. And it's not my role to tell the buyer this house ain't for you. This house,
Right.
that's my role is to find issues with the building
Hmm.
and point them out to the buyer, potential buyer, so they're better educated to make a decision that best
Right.
fits their skill set, their budget, their family needs, etc.
Okay. Okay.
So
And
in the 5.5 years or whatever that we've been doing this, not one time have I ever told a buyer you don't need to buy this
You don't
house.
want this house. Okay.
I've
Good.
never said that.
And what, if a buyer once you send your report to the buyer and they have some questions on it, is that something they need to research themselves, or can they call you and ask you, this is what you marked, what does this mean? Do you take calls like that?
Absolutely. I actually encourage them. Every customer that we have, it's several times in our conversation, whether it's through email or over the phone. If you have any questions, once you see the report, please give me a call.
Mhm.
I'll be glad to go over it with you
Good.
again.
Okay.
I'll take all the time I can to answer any questions that you may have regarding the report.
Okay, good, good. And then this is a big question that I get a lot, is when somebody's buying a new construction home, it's brand new home. So they think that there's nothing wrong, nothing's going to go wrong. They don't want to pay for an inspection. Why should they get an inspection even though it's a brand new home?
Well, that's a good question. And, I have this question posed to me at least once a week, I think. So the short of it would be most folks would be very surprised at what is found during a new construction inspection. So I think it's a good idea to get an inspection. I have found, safety concerns concerning gas exhaust systems. I found new construction houses that were ready for occupancy that didn't have any insulation in the attic. I have found chimney caps missing on new construction. I found siding that's not installed correctly that's gonna leak. I have found plumbing issues from broken water lines to broken drains to,
Wow.
et cetera. So, and we're actually RNC certified in the state of Alabama, which stands for residential new construction. So it's just a win-win
Mm-hmm.
to get, and a lot of times new constructions inspect a little better, but you still have that peace of mind
Mm-hmm.
when
Right,
you get
that
one.
something didn't get missed.
Mhm.
Yeah. And what would you say is, if a seller came to you and said, "Hey, Michael, I'm getting ready to put my house on the market. What can I do so that I don't get anything called out on this inspection? I want to have a clean inspection."
Well, I think the pre-listing inspection is a really good idea
Mm-hmm.
for anyone that's considering putting their house on the market to give us a call, let us do a pre-listing inspection, and you can use that inspection to knock out the items that are found before you list the house, and
Mm-hmm.
then you can use our report as part of your marketing
Right.
to
So
get
that
the house
that
sold.
yeah, they don't have to get an inspection then. That's a great idea.
And most folks are going to get an inspection anyway,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of people will use the inspection report from the pre-listing inspection along with their contractor's receipts or reports or whatever, say, hey, we found this item and
Mm-hmm.
here's the receipt where we had this item repaired, replaced, or corrected.
Right.
So it's a good way to market a house
Mm-hmm.
also.
So you offer that pre-listing inspection, and then you also have a one that you're marketing called a post-closing inspection. Can
Yeah,
you
as you
explain
know,
what that is?
absolutely. So, as a business owner, and you just got to adapt sometimes. And the way the
Mm-hmm.
market is in North Alabama, we had to adapt. So we rolled out this new service a few months ago called a post closing inspection. And the market here in North Alabama is so competitive that a lot of buyers are having to get into these bidding wars over a home,
Mhm.
and they forego the inspection just so they can win the offer.
Yep.
So a post-closing inspection is that after you have closed on the house, we will come in and do an inspection for you. Now, the items that are found, if any, they're your items. You can't go back to
Mhm.
the previous owner and say, hey, we need, because you own the house now, right?
Right.
So, but it gives you an opportunity to know exactly what you've got so you can budget accordingly and
Mhm.
have some of those items, start knocking some of those items
Right.
off the list.
and have a peace of mind probably too about the major items that come back clean, I guess.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So I got a couple of fun questions for you from some of my clients.
Okay.
They want to know, inquiring minds want to know, what is the biggest spider you've ever encountered during an inspection?
Well, here in North Alabama, we don't have really large spiders. Probably the largest spider is what we always call a granddaddy longleg.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably, but nobody likes spiders. They have
No,
too many legs. Yeah, they have way too many legs. They're creepy little critters. But I do see a lot of spiders certain times of the year. None of them are just really huge, like freak you outside spiders,
Mhm.
but I do see quite a few.
You still don't want them on you.
That's right.
Okay, and so here's something a little scarier than a spider. Have you ever encountered any paranormal activity when you were in a house?
Well, that is a good question. So the first thing that pops into my mind, a few years ago, I was inspecting a house in the historic district of Decatur. This house was well over 100 years old.
Hmm.
Old house, really beautiful home. It was vacant. I was there. It was this time of year, so it was getting dark really early in the evening.
Mhm.
And so it was a really big house too. So I was finishing it up after the sun had went down. And I'm in this house and every hair on the back of my neck just stood up. And I'm not one of these guys that believe in ghosts and that kind of thing, but there was something weird about being in that house after the sun went down.
Something scared you. Let's see, what else did I have a question for you? What is the scariest thing that you've ever experienced in a house, or the weirdest thing?
Well,
Besides this?
weird. I oh, there's some I have seen some weird things in house. Probably the scariest thing. I got two funnies. One of them's really funny, and one of them actually embarrassed me. But probably the scariest thing would be I was under a house somewhere over in, I think I was in Meridianville or somewhere over there, and there was a groundhog. And groundhogs, they're not they'll they're not real friendly.
Mhm.
So that I was really ready to get out from under that house. I was in the crawl space, and you
And he
don't
came
have a
at
lot
you?
of. No, he didn't come after me, but I was hoping he would. One of the things that probably this is recent, it's fresh on my mind. It probably startled me the most uh, in recent years. Anyway, I was under a house. It was uh, right at dark. I was in the crawl space. And I'm doing my thing. I got my flashlight looking around, looking at everything. And I turn to go back the other way, and face to face, almost nose to nose, was an animal. And yeah, I mean, we almost touched noses. I'm not kidding you. And the agent and the buyer was inside the house in the living room. Well, I jumped, and of course the crawl space is not very high. So when I jumped, I hit my head on the floor joist and the subfloor and all, and I kind of hollered, and I made enough commotion over there. The agent and the buyer, the agent actually stuck her head in the crawl space door and said, "Michael, are you okay under there?" And I said, "Yeah," but it turned out to be a rabbit.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, after I realized
Yeah.
after I realized what the animal was, I was kind of embarrassed because a
Just a
little
fuzzy
rabbit
bunny
under.
rabbit
Yeah,
scaring you.
just a little rabbit, just like they scared me to death.
All right, I got one last question for you. If somebody wanted you to inspect their wiring at their house and you just were too busy, what would you tell them?
If you mean if I couldn't get to it,
Yeah, if they wanted you to do a wiring inspection and you just couldn't get to it.
and I just couldn't get to it, I'd refer them to probably to an electrician contractor.
Oh, I think
Um,
that's the wrong answer. I think you should tell them that you conduit.
Ah, you jokester, you.
All right, that's my last question. Michael, do you want to tell us what your contact information is in case somebody's looking for a home inspector? And then I'll put it up on the screen also.
Yes, I'll be glad to. So there's several ways to contact us. One is through our website, which is www.cowleyhomeinspections.com. You can also contact us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, through Yelp, I believe. Many different ways to contact us on social media. You can call the office directly at 256-616-7348. Again, that number is 256-616-7348.
Perfect. Good. Well, thanks for taking your time out today. I know it's a busy season for you. And I'll put this up on the website, and hope you have a good rest of your day, Michael.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you,
All right,
Tina.
thank you very much.
Always good to hear from you.
Yep. Bye-bye.